Hello and thank you for watching. I am doing a video today which is a Q&A on getting married young. I feel this is a subject which I have some experience in, so let me give you a little bit of background. When I was 16, I left home and moved to London. When I turned 17, I met my husband in the job that I was doing, and I chased him until he finally, when I turned 18, gave in and went out with me. We then split up a month later because I was a bit too obsessed with him. And then about 6 months later, I don't really know what happened, but we ended up getting back together, and within 3 weeks of that we were engaged, and within 3 years of that we were married. So I was engaged at 18, married at 21, and I had that whole experience of planning a wedding when I was 18, 19 and 20. I've asked on Facebook if people have any questions for me about getting married young, and there were loads, so I will answer as many as I possibly can. Emily asks, did you get people trying to put you off? She just got married this year and was 22 and 23, but everyone was very supportive. To be honest, my immediate family was very supportive. My stepmother told my husband that he shouldn't marry me, he should marry someone else instead. But no one really tried to put me off. There were kind of a couple of work colleagues, because my husband and I didn't live together before we got married, just because we couldn't afford to because we were in London. A friend of mine was like, but what if you don't like living with him and all this kind of stuff, and she said that I had to have lived with him first, else it would never work. But I think kind of 13 years later, I think it probably worked, so I think we're okay on that now. Lucinda asks, do you think your wedding would have been different in any way if you got married when you were older? That's a really difficult question to answer because I can't imagine it being any different. There's certain things, like when I was 21, I didn't wear makeup, I didn't care about stuff like that, so I didn't wear any makeup on the day I got married. I just got married looking like me because I thought if I wore makeup it wouldn't look like me, because I didn't ever wear makeup at that time. I would probably have had less money to spend on it now. We managed to do our whole wedding for about 3.5 grand, including feeding 120 people, so we did a pretty good job already and just made loads of stuff ourselves. So I don't think I would do much differently, but it's difficult to know. I don't know. Chantel says, what do you think of a lot of people's views that if you marry young it won't last? Well, I got married at 21, I've been with my husband since I was 18. 2 weeks time we'll have been together 16 years, and this summer we'll have been married 13 years. So I don't think anything about getting married young. A lot of people say that, but I just think it's like anything, you work at stuff, don't you? And if you're willing to work and you're willing to kind of put the effort in, then it's gonna work. I don't know. My husband is my best friend, genuinely my best friend. It's one of those things loads of people say, but I couldn't imagine life without him. I tell him everything, I share everything with him, he knows everything there is to know about me. So yeah, I think it can work. There are tough times, of course there are tough times, but you can definitely make it work. Stacey says, how did you decide to get married? Was it planned or did one of you propose out of the blue? It was the most unromantic proposal you've ever known. Basically we were in a pub and our friends had just found out we were going out, and then my husband said to me something like, oh, one day we'll get married, or something like that. One day when we're old. I don't remember what he said. And I said, are you asking me to marry you? And he kind of went, yeah. So that was it. He did then get down on one knee in King's Cross tube station and propose again there, but that was in front of people, and I was like, get up, just get up, I've already said yes. So it wasn't really a proposal, although he did do it again later on when the sun was setting and we were on holiday in Lake Garda, right by the lake, and it was beautiful. So I don't think proposal really matters either. Neither of us are romantic, so that really doesn't, yeah, there was no emphasis on a proposal from me, and no kind of, I don't know what I would have done if he'd proposed in a really romantic way. I probably would have run away crying. Cara asks, what were our family's reactions? To be honest, they were really good. My mum just was absolutely fine with it, and my dad did threaten to kill my husband if he ever hurt me, and my husband's mum and dad were just really pleased. So yeah, everyone was pretty happy. My grandma did say to me, it is a joke, isn't it? And I was like, no. No. Stephanie asks, what were your friends' reactions and how many of them were married at the same time? None of them were married at the same time. They were all doing their A-levels. So we had my engagement party on the day of my best friend's 18th birthday. So they were all kind of just doing normal school stuff. And to be fair, none of them really got married or settled down till they were mid-20s. So when I was having, my husband and I had been married sort of 5-6 years before my friends started getting married too. Maybe longer. Lisa asks, do people make assumptions about you being married so young? I found there was quite a lot of prejudice when I went trying on dresses. I think people thought I wasn't really engaged and that I was just trying on dresses for a laugh. I never once got offered champagne, no matter how many different places I went to try on dresses. So yeah, I guess people did make some assumptions. I'm guessing maybe you're alluding to pregnancy. There was nothing, no one assumed I was pregnant, so that was good. They did all start asking when we were having children, like as soon as we got married, and we waited 6 years before we had children. So yeah, I guess that was one of the nice things about being married young, was that we got to spend a lot of time together before we had children, so we kind of knew each other inside out by the time we had kids. Becky says, did people take you seriously when it came to organising and booking the wedding? As I just said, they didn't really take me seriously in terms of trying on dresses and things. But when we'd moved up to Yorkshire, people seemed to get married a bit younger up here, so it was far more acceptable that we were getting married. But most people didn't really bat an eyelid. It was, to be fair, if you're a wedding organiser or have a venue, you don't really care how old the person is as long as they're giving you the money. Jodie asks, how did you know that he was the one, and did it scare you to think that that was it now? I don't really believe in the one. I believe there are probably quite a few ones out there, as in people I could get on with and fancy. I think there are probably more than one, but all of us? I don't know. I don't really believe in that one true love or fairy tales or anything like that. So I knew that I fancied him loads when I met him, and I kind of had a feeling we would get married, but that doesn't... Yeah, I guess that answers the question. And was I scared that that was that? No, because I was just looking forward to spending my life with him, and I still am, and that's 16 years later. So I clearly did meet the right person for me at that time, and we've changed a huge amount in that time. I know I've certainly changed a lot, so I think it's just a case of growing together, if that makes sense. We could easily have grown apart, but we made sure that we didn't. That's an awful answer. Anyway, I hope this has been interesting for you. If you're getting married and you're a bit younger perhaps, then leave me a comment below and I'll do my best to answer any questions or anxieties you may have. I'm now 34 and I've been married nearly 13 years, and I've nearly been with my husband for half of my life. And my mum pointed out to me the other day that I've lived with him longer than I lived with her, which is very strange. But he's the easiest person to live with ever. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's been kind of maybe a bit insightful into part of my life that I possibly haven't shared before. If you have liked it, give us a thumbs up. If you would like to, then please subscribe. I'd love it if you did. And I'll see you again soon. Alright, bye.